Hello, everyone. Um, I guess we'll just wait a few minutes, make sure everything is going. Checking YouTube to see. All right.
Oh yeah, you got both of the accounts to work.
Yeah, I'm just trying to make sure that it's actually showing up on YouTube
It
because it was
did. Oh,
being.
I didn't look on YouTube. I just looked on Twitter.
Yeah, it's going on Twitter. All right, so it shows that it's live, but it's not actually working on YouTube, which is this what it was doing before. Hmm. Well, if we can't get it to work on YouTube unless there's someone. Let's see. Let's turn on the chat. There's people in chat.
Yeah, definitely people already in chat.
Okay, cool. Um, well, fuck. The YouTube is not working for some reason.
I did see a stream on there earlier when I subscribed. So,
Yeah, but it was not doing the. It was just blank.
mm. Oh, I guess the YouTube is fine and the Twitter is not working, is what Val said.
Yeah, I know. I know that the Twitter's fine and YouTube's not.
Oh no, YouTube's fine.
Oh, YouTube is fine, but Twitter is not.
Yeah. It might just be, I don't know. If you're live on there, sometimes I don't know if you can see the actual stream. Okay, said it's good now. Fingers crossed.
Okay. All right. Cool. All right, here we go. All right, guys. So before we get started, I just wanted to say a few things. Like this show is it's kind of crazy, right? Like there's no way I would ever agree to be a contestant on this show, right? And I wouldn't make one that I would be willing to go on, of course. But that just goes to show like the bravery and like the guts that Stella and Maury have. Like they were not the first people I floated this idea to, but they were the first people to accept and agree, right? So, they're doing it first too, right? So I don't know, I don't want anyone to be negative or, judgmental of their performance or anything because they have my utmost respect, and I think they both did a great job, and even the fact that they're willing to come on and do it, it should be applauded, right? Um, okay, cool. Here we go. Let's get started then. Hi, welcome to Astrology Death. Is this working?
Yes, it's playing.
Hi, welcome to Astrology Deathmatch. I'm Alex Harper, your host. This is a game show where two astrologers go head to head in competition to answer challenging questions about 11 different charts. Two astrologers will enter the ring. Only one will be declared victorious. Joining me as my co-host and ring announcer is Alberta.
Hey, everybody. We've got an exciting showdown for you tonight. In one corner, we've got Stella Astrology. They're going to be taking on Maury, Alchemic Mind, in this celestial duel.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like our ring announcer is having a little bit of technical difficulty, so I'm going to have to announce our contestants this evening. In this corner over here, we have at Stellar Astrology. They are spectacular. They're spellbinding. They're coming in like a shooting star, and they're going to blow this ring out of the water. Who is brave enough to take them on? None other than Alchemic Mind with his grimoires and his spells. Will he cast a spell on Stellar Astrology?
Hey Stella, I hope you're familiar with the writing stuff because you're about to get work.
Oh yeah, Maury? Well, you better watch it because I'm gonna knock you out of set.
The first question. Here are two charts. One person is an escort and has done erotic dancing. The other is a massage therapist. Which one is which? Okay, so I guess that's a good time to pause it. Looks like I am frozen. Am I not?
Yeah, but you look really focused.
What is?
It looks like you're really studying hard.
All right, there we go.
There you are.
Okay,
Perfect.
cool. All right, so with that out of the way, hopefully that's the last of that. Here, let's go here. All right. What do we want to do? I mean, we should look at the poll here because this is the first question that people voted on, and looks like the majority is going with. They went with chart A as the escort, and chart B as the massage therapist. All right. Sorry, guys. We will get this. Here we go. I think this is going to be better.
There we go. Yeah.
We have the charts here in whole sign for the folks at home. If you want to pause the video, take a look at this. There will also be links to all of the charts posted below this video. Here are the charts in whole sign, and here are the charts in Placidus. The contestants have agreed that these are the house systems that are going to be used.
All right, contestants, get your ephemerides out. You've got 5 minutes to come up with an answer. All right, Stella buzzed in first. Let's hear their answer.
I delineated that chart A is the escort, chart B is the massage therapist.
And what brought you to that conclusion, Stella?
I found that the second house containing the moon, as well as the only triplicity support for the second house being Jupiter in the fifth house in Scorpio. No other triplicity rulers of the second house are able to witness the second house. In addition to that, Venus is the 10th, the 10th place from Fortune, which is ruled by Mercury, has only triplicity support from Venus, who is on the midheaven.
Great. That's a great answer. What about you, Maury? What was your answer for this question?
I also chose chart A, so I hope we're both right. But my reasoning is L6 Jupiter in the fifth house, trine combust Venus, conjunct MC. It gave like making money through pleasures and affairs. Ninth is also fifth from fortune and ruled by Jupiter and the term of Mercury. So selling oneself stands out, which is also emphasized through the L1 in the second house, as Stella mentioned. And they both come close, but L10 being Aqua Mars in the eighth is like the cherry on top between both charts. So I went with chart A.
Now, you are both correct. All right. The correct answer is that chart A is the escort and chart B is the massage therapist. So both of you guys receive a point. Here we go on to the next question. All right. Okay. So looks like the majority were right here on this one too. Here we. I mean, well, do you want to say anything about this chart, Gracie? Like,
Yeah,
did you
as Cancer rising, having that sixth house, because I have an intercepted sixth house that's ruled by Scorpio if you're using Positus. And that sixth house ruled by Scorpio is really in a very, for lack of better words, intense place to be. And with all that Pluto and Mars energy ruling in her fifth house and just like really kind of taking over there. And then you see, hey, go over to the other chart and it's trying her ascendant too. And there's a lot of like could be sex worker energy there, but it's pretty cool to see how everyone came to that conclusion. I think that's what my favorite part of all of your astro quizzes are, and to see two astrologers go head to head like that are so talented. It's really fun to watch.
So yeah, I mean, well, thank you for that. Yeah, I like this chart because it just seems like one chart has their body a lot more prominent than it's. I don't know, all of this action up on the MC and the ruler of the fifth here down in Scorpio, being in the 12th place from fortune. Venus is in the rules the 11th from fortune. So does Mercury. It this one seems like they're having a lot of fun. This one's having fun, but maybe in a different way, right?
Exactly. Still very physical, because there's definitely that.
Yeah, I thought all the 12th house action here was more like a healer.
Mhm.
The 12th, 6th stuff going on in this chart. So, all right, well, we've got the next question coming up. I'm going to post the charts in the thread. Okay, this is a question that has lots of charts, right? There's 4 charts here. There's 4 people, and 3 of them are attorneys. 1 person is a plumber. The object of the question is to choose the plumber, right? So here are the charts in whole sign. Here are the charts in Placidus. Again, remember, all these are posted in a link below the video.
I hope you're ready. Your 5 minutes starts right now.
All right, so maybe we'll just let this play through and they can.
All right, it looks like Maury has buzzed in first. Let's hear their answer.
So for number 2, I chose C as the plumber. And I honestly didn't write as much because there's so many charts. So my conclusion was it reads a handyman, whereas the others give more prominence to like institutional settings, giving Jupiter's placement and emphasis in the ninth house. But yeah, that was my answer.
That was a great answer, Maury. I was actually between between chart C and chart D, which is my final answer. Chart D is not a lawyer. The reason I said this is because there is a lack of emphasis and strength from ninth and 10th house topics and how they relate to career. Chart C is a very good choice though, because I was between those two.
Okay, so actually
All right, so I know I just posted this a few minutes ago. You probably haven't had a chance to look at it, but I was wondering if um, anyone had any thoughts on this question. Anyone in chat want to guess? Take a wild guess as to which one's not a lawyer.
Yeah, this is definitely a more difficult one with all those charts.
Yeah, there's a lot of charts too. That's the problem.
Guess my virtual background's gone. Sorry, guys. All right, we got a chart B for plumber.
All right, so I've got it up here. We can see. What's the best way? Here we go. Let's do this. All right, so we can look at them here. Now, I wanted to point out, and I do it better. I wanted to point out here because these charts have a trick, right? So if we look at them just in whole sign first, you're going to notice right away, right? Most people are going to think for an attorney, 8th and 9th house, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because the 9th house is the law, right? Among other things, 8th house is always dealing with other people's things, other people's problems, other people's disputes, things generated by other people. So you want like big activations in 8th and 9th house. And that's how most people would go about trying to find an attorney, right? But that is going to kind of trip you up here if you apply that. And I can show why, because we'll look here, the first chart, it clearly passes. It's got Mercury domiciled in the 9th house, right? It's got the 8th house sun, right? The moon is here in Leo, sextile in the sun. Lawyer here. Same thing
Yeah.
over here. You've got the 9th house is being ruled by the moon, which is culminating. 8th house is ruled here by Mercury, which is mixed with Mars, right? And Mercury Mars combinations, you really see, along with Jupiter as well, you often see in attorneys. They've got Jupiter here in mutual reception, so that's Jupiter being involved with Mercury and Mars, right? So this one passes the conventional test for lawyer too, right?
Yeah, and
Then
that
we
22-degree Venus as well, just because I work with degree theory. I love the 22-degree Scorpio Venus. That's the degree of protecting those the people that are in protected clothing, hunting things that are not protected. So it's very much like the solution degree to that is taking over that protection and actually creating refuge for others. So that'd be really cool to see if that's like a human rights lawyer or something along those lines.
That's cool. This person is actually they do criminal defense work actually.
That's one type of human rights.
Yeah. By the way, shout out to the people whose charts these are. You guys know who you are if you're watching. All right, then, so this one, right? You've got the 9th and 8th ruler rising, right? Both of them are rising here. So that's strong. You'd think this person was a lawyer at first blush, right? Then you've got here where 8th and 9th are ruled by Mercury and Venus, which are down here on the IC with Saturn. And it doesn't, the 9th house retrograde Mars in Gemini is, maybe a slick talker, but you might not necessarily think it's a lawyer.
Right.
So, but the trip up here is that all these charts the other ones, they have Saturn, is solar phase is waning, right? The sun is about to conjunct Saturn. So that means
Mhm.
as they go on, it's going to be weaker, right? And have a weaker effect. Now, here we've got Saturn and Sun. Saturn is there's in a sextile, but the solar phase has not progressed so much. Here we've got another waning solar phase with Saturn. This person has Saturn close to the ascendant, trying the ascendant, and it's just stationed, right? Just stationed direct, right? So when Saturn stations and it witnesses an angle very closely, that person, they might have a harder material life, right? And so if we can make certain assumptions based on attorneys that, their material well-being is probably going to be better off than, a plumber, right? I know it might be but wrong assumption, but in the majority of cases, it's true. So that is how I would have answered this question. I think that
Okay.
is a giveaway for this, because a lot of times you have to approach these questions as like, all right, I'm going to answer this question, but what am I going to use to answer it? Like, what am I going to key in on? Because sometimes you don't want to go with the clue that is stated outright. You want to say, all right, well, what am I really looking for here? Right. And this will come up again and again in the questions, is that if you can pick a characteristic that you're looking for, and then that is exemplary of the example, then that a lot of times that's easier than getting hung up on the attorneys versus plumbers. If you ask yourself, what's a big difference that I can use to
Mhm.
distinguish them, right? So sometimes it's not about what they are; it's about the difference between the choices you're presented with. I
I
don't
like
know.
seeing all these cancer MCs with lawyers because everybody says they have no heart, and I'm like, look at them, they're all happy and nurturing. It's adorable.
Yeah, and like
Um,
this
And
one's
then
got
the chart C, I guess, that Scorpio MC, I've noticed Scorpio MCs literally put up with so much shit. And it's like that's what rules over their, 10th house of family and public image and all that. So it's like I use Placidus once again. So when I saw that chart D with that Gemini Mars and Placidus in the 8th house, I'm like, ooh, that person's got some research savvy. And it's cool to see the delineation process once again with the contestants because their answers being you can see how they got there no matter what, and that's the beauty of astrology, is that there's multiple truths at once, which is what I love about this.
Yeah, it's really cool. I also just want to point out that this Neptune conjunct a lot of fortune,
Mm,
kind of a cute placement for a plumber,
that
right?
is.
Um, all right. Here we go. Let's go on with the show.
The correct answer is that chart C is the plumber.
Ooh.
Okay, so we've got, well, Alberto, what's the score going on right now?
I think we have a tie on our hands. We have a tie? Or no, wait a minute. The first one was a tie. So this is Maury's inching forward. Now, how would you?
It's 2-1. Our scorekeeper is apparently not good at counting, ladies and gentlemen. It's a travesty. So here we go. Let's take a look at.
All right. So because I already went over the same thing that I just went over here, I'm going to skip past this part but I will go to where they start talking.
You guys are pretty good in an argument, right? You could definitely say that about them at least. So,
Alex,
yeah,
can I add something to my answer?
yeah. Well, yes, but sure. Go ahead. Go ahead. We can see you if I take this off.
It's okay. I could just talk over the chart too. But for the chart C, part of my reasoning was because the L6 was combust. So I was thinking their job circumstances would probably be unstable or not as secure. So I feel like handyman would be one of those jobs that kind of like switches consistently between different settings and whatnot.
Can I add to that?
Mhm.
Chart C is also the only chart with Jupiter retreating from an angle. Jupiter as a natural signifier of law and justice. Retreating from an angle is not indicative of somebody who embodies that. And also chart D at a second look has Jupiter 10th from fortune in the 10th house relating to career. So yeah, that is definitely, yeah.
Let me go right back to sharing the screen because there's one final point I wanted to make. Right?
Yeah, that's what I'd finish up, the point about Saturn stationing. So we'll just skip this.
Any thoughts about that?
Yeah, I also noticed just now while you were going through that in every chart there are favorable aspects between the moon and Mercury, which is a must. If you're going to go up and speak in front of people and argue somebody's case, you need to be able to do so well. Whereas in chart C, there is no connection between the moon and Mercury. They do not witness each other. So this person may not be the most eloquent or capable of speaking publicly, which is a must for an attorney.
Another good consideration. Okay, yes, this is a fun question. All right, so the question here are two people. One of them was a juvenile delinquent. The other one was a teenage overachiever. Which one is which? Here we have the charts in whole sign and in Placidus.
All right, guys, you've got 5 minutes to come up with the answer. Oh, Stella got to the buzzer first. Let's hear what they have to say.
I determined that chart A is the delinquent. My reasoning being that the first angular triad contains, referring to the first portion of life, contains a retrograde Jupiter in Gemini with Saturn also retrograde in the 12th house. The moon ruled by Mars. Yes, angular, but still Mars that rules the ascendant. And then Leo, also pertaining to that first third of life, being ruled by an exiled sun. There's Mars in the third house, grade school, disturbances in school. And then finally, as a night chart, chart A has the Fardar of Saturn during their youth, which inclines me to believe that this person was a delinquent. Not that everybody born at night is a delinquent. Let me just.
Me being an Aries moon night chart.
That sounds like talking smack.
Yeah, you know what? I take that back then. You are a delinquent.
And by a son of Mars, I'll take it.
All right, I think it's time to hear what Maury came up with.
All right, so the way I delineated was that I feel like a fourth house sun would be too sheltered. So I chose chart A. I also have a fourth house sun, so I had those placements. So I felt like I had a very overachieving experience, which kind of played into my answer. So there's some bias there, but I say someone with fourth house sun wouldn't really have time for delinquency. Plus, moon in the 10th and approaching a full moon could emphasize someone's need to be bigger or more reputable. As for experiences, looking at Venus's aspect, although it's fallen, it doesn't highlight any difficulties for them to act out on, in my opinion. And that's just coming from like a behavior background. Usually people that are more inclined towards delinquency have troubles relating with others or difficulties in that area. And I chose chart B as delinquent because Sun is in 10th with L10 in 8th house. and the oppositions from the second house to all the planets in the eighth house was enough like pause for me. And what tells it again is that Venus squares as like enough probability for behavioral issues.
Okay.
All right. So let's pull up these charts here and see what you think. Gracie, what did you think about this question?
Man, being a Cancer rising to begin with is a never-ending battle. You're ruled by the most constantly changing, luminary in the astrology world, and then you have an Aries moon, Placidus in the 10th house, that Pisces MC. I will just say I'm a Cancer rising, and I was voted most likely to be seen on Cops for my high school. So that was where I went immediately with chart A. But I like chart B because I love a good Taurus moon in the eighth. I don't know what it is, but man, I know it's exalted, but they can be some of the feistiest people. The Libra rising also, there's a lot of cases for Libra risings. They've got that good angel and the devil on either side, and you just never know the balance swing. And for the Placidus, of course, is what I'm looking at. Having your son on the MC usually means you're a little bit more of a tryhard, is from personal experience. I've got my son very close to my MC, and I wouldn't say that I'm a tryhard, but I definitely seek approval at times. So I could see how both actually would be fitting. And the Cancer rising, usually they're very much people pleasing, very much trying to soothe their parents' worries and needs. And that sixth house Pluto, you just never know. With the Sagittarius Pluto, especially conjunct Chiron, I think that's a really unique placement. So either way, I think these could go in a awry in some sorts, but I'm gonna go with definitely. I like the aspects where they're talking about how you know these nurturing type people that have the Cancer MC and also the Cancer ascendant. It's a very volatile placement to have a 10th house ruled by the moon as well. A lot of like self-worth, self-doubt. So there is definitely something to be said about both of these charts being possible for both options.
Yeah. I want to shout out Astrology Health.
Yeah, the anaretic
Heretic
Mercury.
Mercury and Mars in chart B. Good eye. When planets are ingressing into a new sign, it does give them a lot of extra power and juice, right? And Mercury and Mars go very well together for a lot of different kinds of
Mhm.
work, especially academic work. Um, the sun on the angle here is also very, very loud. I really like criminals charts. I look at criminals charts a lot, and people involved in illegal activity, especially people that are good at it and get away with it. A lot of them have Mars and Mercury in mutual reception, right? And we've got that here, and Mars is also on the IC, right?
Mhm.
Which is like hidden stuff. And Mars is also corrupting Venus in the fifth house. So it's like they like to get up to no good things that are fun but might be bad.
And I love that sixth house ruled by an anaretic Scorpio. So that's just perfect.
Yeah. So all right. Well, let's see. Let's go and play the show now.
Pause for me. And what tells it again is that Venus squares as like enough probability for behavioral issues.
Okay, both really great answers and well supported. But the correct answer for this question is that chart A is the juvenile delinquent and chart B is the teenage overachiever. So, well, where does that leave us with the score, Alberto?
I'm sorry, I've lost track again. Can you tell me and I'll say
Oh
it?
my God, guys, what did we ever put them on the show for? Are you serious? Okay, it's 2-2. It is 2-2. All right, it's all tied up. All right, here we go. Let's take a look. All right, this is the chart for question number 4. Okay, here's whole sign, and here's Placidus. The question that is before the contestants is to determine which one of these people is a dancer and which one is a musician. All right, Alberto, will you start our time, please?
All right, contestants. I know it's been a grueling journey so far, but you've got 5 minutes to come up with an answer. All right, it looks. Oh my God, Maury has buzzed in. Let's hear what their answer is.
So I chose chart A is the dancer because they have a 5th house moon ruled by Saturn and the 6th, and it could lead someone with performative comfort to seek employment by means of like physical movement or something of the sort. And moon is sextile Jupiter, who is also L6, and in the term of Venus and dancing just stands out more. 2nd house is also 5th from fortune, so I could see this person having gains by like the means of limelight. And I chose chart B as musician because 5th house Saturn squared by its lord Venus in the H could make it hard for someone to express himself in a way that's I don't know, more professionally in dance. So 8th house Leo Venus and Mercury could also grant inherited artistic talent, which is what I was looking for because I'm like, where are the like artistic traits in this chart? And it's 2nd from fortune, so using those skills to making means by contracts or label, given it's in the 7th house, or working with others on top of a 12th house moon. It just reads more as withdrawn if they were a musician. So by process of elimination, I chose B as musician.
Sound delineation. I'm going to have to disagree though. I believe that chart A is the musician and chart B is the dancer. With chart A, we have this Mercury in Libra. Obviously, both of these people have creative Venusian careers in some way. But there's this Mercury in Libra, which is creativity and artistic expression, but through tools. There's a more distinct mercurial element to that. We've got this airy intellectualism with the creative endeavors and the moon in Aquarius in the 5th applying to trine that Mercury. Chart B, on the other hand, as a dancer, I didn't take very many notes here, but you know, the Jupiter, the moon is applying to trine Jupiter, which is in the 10th place from fortune. And the sun is conjoined to the lot of fortune. Both of those things are very much about like having your body involved in performance. There's a little bit more ambition and kind of boldness that has to come from being a dancer, whereas as a musician, it's a bit dry and intellectual, as I mentioned. So chart A is the musician.
Okay, guys, so those are both really good answers.
All right, I'll pull up the charts here, and maybe you can, if you want to say something about it.
Yeah, for sure. I love guessing professions just because for me, like my intercepted 6th house heals so much from learning like about 6th house kind of things and hearing about my profession, which is now being an astrologer, is I get to learn through all this so much. So I like to look at the 6th house and the 6th house ruler. And when we look at chart A, Pisces, once again, using Placidus, and I think feet. And then there's Saturn there. One of my favorite athletes has a 6th house, Pisces Saturn, and is like the greatest of all time in his sport. And then we go to chart B and we see that the 6th house was ruled by Gemini at 2 degrees. And I think of the hands, and the 6th house to me is about the physicality of what like what rules your chart is going, or what rules that house is going to kind of keep you at bay or keep you calm, or it's like your antidote, so to speak. So when I see chart A, I think of the feet being the key to sixth house peace. And I think chart B, the key to their peace is working with their hands.
Yeah, I like that. I actually gave my thoughts here in the video, so I'll just continue and
That's
play.
amazing. Listen to my thoughts. Go ahead.
But no, I really liked that. I think you are maybe onto something.
I like to keep it simple, but still.
Yeah, keep it simple. Don't do any more work than you have to.
Yeah.
And after listening to Stella's answer, it honestly makes me feel a little bit guilty for withholding some crucial information because chart A is a dancer and also a choreographer. So the Mercury power that she's picking up on is attributable to the fact that he is also choreographing these dances, not just moving his body. Here, let's take a look though, because I think that chart A has an easier way to tell. All right, so if I was given this question, I would try and see like which chart is focused more on the body, right? You know, how many indications of prominent body do we have, and what are the traditional significations of the body? But the moon and the ascendant, right? So we're going to look at the moon and the ascendant. So first, we've got moon rules Cancer, which contains the midheaven and the lot of fortune, right? The moon is in the fifth house, creative pursuits. The moon is also trining the ascendant. Mars is co-present with Jupiter here, right? Mars-Jupiter contacts, you tend to increase physicality. Now, in chart B, we've got an opposition between Mars and Jupiter, which is not going to give you the same blending that the conjunction will, right? Also here, the moon cannot see fortune, cannot see the sun, cannot see the ascendant, right? The moon here can see the sun, it's just past the square, right? So we've got the significations of the body are making a lot more contacts with each other in this chart versus this one. So this one here is, it's got Venus and Mercury in the same sign and conjunct the North Node. And Venus music is a combination of mercurial and Venusian qualities, right? It's not just one or the other, it's both. So Mercury and Venus in the same sign, it seems more like music to me. All right. All right, it is tough. And since I have to keep the score as well, I will say that Maury is inching ahead with 3 points, but it's not over yet. Okay, it's the final question. Will Stellar Astrology pull back into this and make this round go to sudden death? Here we go. The question is, this is the same chart for one person, right? Person is represented here in whole signs here in Placidus. This person ended up passing away, sadly, at the end of their life from cancer. The question is, what part of the body was affected by the cancer?
All right, contestants, you've got 5 minutes to come up with an answer. Oh, it looks like Stellar Astrology has buzzed in.
Yeah, let's just watch them.
I determined that this cancer is somehow related to the digestive tract, particularly the upper part of the abdomen, maybe some kind of organ tucked within the ribs, near the lungs. There is Virgo in the 8th house, and it receives a square from both malefics, and the moon is besieged by those two malefics.
And what was your answer?
I said due to L6 being the moon in the 8th and squaring both malefics, I'd resort to it as the indicator. The L6 from Fortune is also conjunct the moon, so I'm inclined to say this is dealing with feminine parts. I'm not well rounded in medical astrology, so I'm not sure if the sign, planet, or house would be the most representative, but I'm gonna go with the planet since it emphasizes movement. My answer is the breast because the moon, and long term with the inclination of spreading to the lungs because Venus is there with it.
Well, actually, the Cancer in this person.
Okay. Before we let that get revealed, let's pull up the chart.
And this is a very interesting one.
Okay, here we go. So, this person at the end of their life, they passed away from cancer. As I said before, we've got to determine where it was, right? Where the cancer basically started, right? So, I don't know. Did you have anything you wanted to say about this one, Gracie?
Oh man, I've been talking about the moon ruled houses, the sixth house being moon ruled. You go to the moon and positives in the eighth house, also in whole sign, at that 22 degrees of Virgo, which is of course the be killed degree, and in Virgo, with Virgo representing the digestive system, I like the answer of that digestive system, of course, and then you look to see Mercury as well, and Mercury is up there in Libra, in the eighth house, which is also genitals and the reproductive organs and the brain. And so there's just a lot, like there just seems to be like this like column that it's focusing on. So it's like from genitals up to the head area as well. So definitely a tricky one.
Yeah, no, this one is tricky, but I think there's a good giveaway here, right? So
Okay.
we're always, if it's a death question, right, we want to look at the eighth, right? So the eighth from the ascendant is Virgo, right? So right there, that is evoking digestion. Also, when a person is older, you want to consider signs relative based on their sun, right? So the eighth sign from the sun is Gemini, right? And Gemini contains both malefics, and they're actually
Right.
enclosing this moon here.
That square is pretty crazy.
Yeah, you've got double Mercury activations in the eighth, right? And the malefics are in Gemini, and Gemini is more associated with the upper part of the torso.
And
Virgo is
lungs.
the lower part. So I think that is where you might look for the answer.
I like that. And with Pluto on the descendant, it seems like there's something transformative about their sun. And then of course you go and see that it's in Scorpio at 1 degrees, which is an Aries degree. It's like it's an explosive sort of sun.
Is esophageal, which the esophagus is an organ that connects the throat to the digestive tract, and it's part of the digestive tract. So it's going to be in the upper chest area right here. So it looks like this point goes to Stella. It is now 3-3, so we're going to have to go to sudden death. But first, I will just take one moment to say something here. Something that you can do with charts, especially once the person is old enough, because once a person gets to a certain age, people disagree about what age this is. then the sun chart becomes a much more prominent of a consideration, and you want to turn the chart to put the sun on the ascendant, right? If we do that, that makes Gemini the 8th with both malefics, right? And Gemini is ruled by Mercury. Gemini is associated with, the arms, the throat, right? The voice, the bronchial tubes, right? This general area, right, of the body, upper abdomen is associated with Mercury, right? And Mercury rules both of these malefics that are 8th from the sun. Okay, so now we have to go to sudden death, right? So we have a rapid fire selection of charts that first person to lose is going to lose everything. Okay, so the rapid fire round. The question is, here's some charts. Is this person heterosexual or not? Are they LGBT of some kind? So all of the lovely delineations from all of these texts like Firmicus and Dorotheus about what makes perverts, that is all fair game. As soon as you know, say it.
All right, does anyone else want to play along with the sudden death? What do you guys think?
Yeah, let's get the chat in here.
Yeah. Yeah, what do you guys think? I just posted all these charts on the thread. I'll post that in the chat.
I like that Val said the vote is rigged, JK. Well, now we're tied up. So I know that's not true. All right, we got the charts in there.
I mean, I'm gonna go with not, right? I don't think they are, but I mean, I know anyway, so I hate the question. So my vote doesn't really count. Here we go.
They're gay.
Yeah, not straight, not straight. L7, exalted in the 11th house. They like people with many walks.
Okay. Yeah, this person is actually male to female transgender. So it is correct. They are not straight, they're not heteronormative. Moving on. Is this person straight or not?
Gay. This person's gay. Saturn
Yeah.
in the 7th house, sextile Venus, conjunct to Mercury. This person is a homosexual.
They're probably a 22 with the sun, Aries, and next to MC. So
That's correct. This person is gay. A lesbian, in fact.
Can I have her number?
Hey, I'm pretty sure that she's probably watching this stream right now because this is someone from Twitter. So shout out to you.
is it Bad Pasture by any chance?
You're gonna be a matchmaker?
No, it's not. It's not.
I'll
I'll tell you later. Stop trying to guess. All right. Here we go. Chart 3. Is this person gay or not?
Is this a man?
This is.
Straight.
Gay. I'm gonna say gay. Saturn, Venus.
Yeah, the Saturn Venus square here. This person is bisexual, right? So yes, they definitely do not qualify as straight. So looks like just there at the end, despite a valiant effort on their part, Stellar Astrology has stumbled.
No. Whatever shall I do? My reputation is ruined.
Is with great.
So, you want vengeance? You want another chance at this? Do you think you could pull it together to get Maury again?
Maybe, but it seems that the Scorpio Mars takes the cake today.
The belt is heavy.
It is indeed.
It is with a great pleasure I announce the winner of the first ever astrology death match, Maury at Alchemic Mind.
Yay!
Congratulations, Maury. You were a
Thank
great
you,
competitor.
Stella.
Yes.
You were also an amazing competitor. It was very moon to sun, sun to moon, and we caught it live on camera.
Yes, indeed. This was very fun. I would love to do it again sometime.
So both you guys did amazing. I'm very impressed with both of you, and love talking to you guys. Think you guys are both great astrologers. In fact, everyone here is an astrologer, and we all give readings. I think, right? All of us do. So if you guys would like to say a little bit about yourselves and where people can find you, and if you have a website for booking for natal readings or anything like that, there you go. The floor is yours.
I'll go first. If you don't already follow me or know me from Twitter, I post a lot of random stuff on there and occasionally also astrology, though it's my astrology account. But if you want to get serious and get a reading with me, you can also do that by going to my website. It will be in my links. But if you don't know how to get there, it is alchemicmind.com. And wow, I just felt so professional right now. So yeah, check it out.
For me, I am at Stellar Astrology on Twitter. I also am a co-host of the Mercuranians podcast. If you're into traditional astrology, definitely check that out. And my website is under construction. So if you want a consult, shoot me a direct message. But yeah.
Hey everybody, I'm Alberto, and you can find me at translationoflight.org. I also run the Astro Museum on Twitter.
And I am Alex Harper. I'm on Twitter as @balefulrays. I do have a site that I'll post a link for to book if you're in person in the Indianapolis area, you want to come see me in person. Otherwise, if it's online, then just hit me up on Twitter, or you can send me an email. I'll put the email on the screen. It's at balefulrays balefulrays@pm.me. Either way, to contact me is fine for a reading.
All right. So that's it. That's the first episode. I thought both did great. I need to stop moving around so much in my chair. I've noticed I need to not get a whirly chair. This is the first time I've ever done this, and
I'm trapped in a wall, so I can't move.
moving around all the time. I know I've been doing it on this one too. I don't know. Is it distracting?
You can't be managed. You no longer have a manager.
Yeah, I'm used to being standing when I talk, and so
Yeah.
moving around is good when you're standing, but not when you're sitting.
It has not been distracting at all.
I'm glad you guys liked it. I think we can stick around and chat for a little bit longer.
Yeah.
I am just gonna step off just for a second, but let's put up. Do you want me to put up any of the charts? Is there any ones that you didn't really get to comment on, that you had something you wanted to say about it?
No, I would love to hear if anybody had any comments of their own, just because I feel like, not that we rushed it at all, but I know that people are catching up on Twitter. If they had any comments, I know that they can usually keep me. I can just
now that
form
people have had a chance to see
the
charts,
I can go off on anything about astrology. So
let's
just put
go to
background in journalism. I'll start reading prompters. Watch out.
There's a lot of one. Well, here's the first one. The second one, I don't know. People have had some time. Is there anyone want to discuss this?
Which one are we pulling up again? Sorry.
This is the
Give me
lawyers,
that. Okay.
but we could do any of them.
I just want to make sure I had them up on my screen too. And this is the lawyer one you said, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, what to you makes the ultimate lawyer? Like you said, the ninth house, of course, but it's like you also have to have a presence and vocal presence and be able to be a public figure. Because as somebody who recently finished my courtroom battle with my neighbors, this is a very 11th house Uranus transit. I was not intimidated, but it just felt like this, just kind of like this energy of like, oh man, I don't feel comfortable here. What gives that comfortability? That's what I want to know about. So if anybody has any ideas on that, it'll keep me entertained.
I mean, I think there's a lot to be said for, Mercury and Moon contacts.
I like that moon on the MC in chart B.
Yeah, there's a lot of attorneys that have, especially ones that are like represent people and go to trial, that have moons culminating. I have one. Loads of others do. I've got a ton of lawyer charts because of all the people. Which, if you guys are still watching, by the way, Stefan and Cleo and Lauren, what's up? I don't know. It's I liked this question because it kind of, it turns it on its head, right? It's got misdirection, which is always one of the things I do with the quizzes and try to, I don't know, because sometimes when it's exactly what you expect, then it's a little bit too easy, right?
Yeah, and that chart D, that 22-degree sun in Sagittarius, that's a degree that's represented in the Sabian symbols as a Chinese laundry. And then the next degree is immigration, paperwork, and documents being filled out by immigrants. So the Sabian symbols really paint a visual for that. So I wonder if they have like international or any sort of like foreign connection there.
It's funny because this person, Chart D's father, is an immigrant.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's very loud there. I love it.
So someone says there's attorneys that have terrible business sense, small practices make little money, and there's plumbers that own big businesses and make millions. Yes, that is true. And it is basically relying on the assumptions, right? Assumptions about, that because owning like a plumbing operation and a company is not really the same thing as being a plumber, right? It's more, right? And that's something that you just have to make judgment calls for yourself. Like because in another question, we've got like with the dancer question, this person, they have Mercury rising, and that's a detail that's left out, right? Because a dancer could also be a choreographer, right? That
Right.
was something else that was mentioned. So, uh, yeah, that's kind of the nature of the quiz, is that like how you interpret the clues and the prompt is kind of part of the difficulty of the question, right? And you can make wrong assumptions, and we do that all the time, right? A lot of times that's why it's important to talk to people when reading their charts, is because you can interpret something in a way that it might just not be there, or you might be overlooking something, right?
Absolutely.
I don't know. It's not possible to do that in this format, but I try and bring some of that out, right? Some of the things where it's like makes you take a second look once you see their chart.
Yeah, and I read the answers all the time when this was just in tweet format, and I go through and I learned so much from everybody's point of view, and it's probably one of my favorite. I'm a 12th house Gemini moon. I'm the nosiest person ever. I'm like, tell me how you know things. And I love information, and the fact that people can share something in a forum setting without it being like combative. That's something that you know, I'm kind of, I don't want to say I'm new to the astrology scene, but I am, compared to a lot of other people that have been established. And when I went viral, it was just kind of like this. I found all these new people and it felt like an instant community. And I love that. But not everybody gets like an instant community. So sometimes it feels like you're just tweeting to the abyss. And this is a great way to meet new astrology friends, you know, to start a conversation and to really respect other people's viewpoints and how they got to the same answer that you might have. Or, you know, you can see the other side of where you went wrong and you can go back and learn. And I think that's what a lot of people get a lot of shit for doing celebrity charts. And I'm like, look, if the king has cancer, it's world news, and I'm going to pull up a chart and talk about it. Like, I do not feel bad about this. This is the freaking king of England, okay? I don't need to go into a history lesson, but historically, these people are a bit of monsters. So I don't feel bad about it. I want to learn. I want to help other people learn, and you know, I love death charts too. I find them absolutely fascinating. Whenever, you know, I have a close family death, you know, it means a lot to me to be able to go back in time and not necessarily instantly and just kind of learn from it. And there's so much beauty in having the moment of things. And so it's so cool that you have so many people that are willing to give their charts and maybe a little bit about themselves. That could be considered vulnerable, but you know, you're steel trap. And I know that if you were getting charts from people that, you know, it's a safe place. So I really feel like you're building something not to just, you know, take this over and give you a huge praise session. I just really am grateful for a place like this in a time like this when everyone just seems to be yelling at each other, which I'm guilty of. I'm guilty of being like, what the fuck did I just read? And like responding to it. And then I have to be like, it doesn't matter. Like, we're all here to learn. Like, just calm down. But it's fun. It's fun to be triggered. I think it is. And I think it's fun to be triggered into learning something new.
Yeah, no, that's why. Thank you so much for saying all that. That's very kind of you. That is what I've been trying to develop with these quizzes and doing these things is having a, you know, and I want to make this show kind of playful too, right? I don't want to make anyone look bad, right? And I want to kind of channel the disruption and conflict into, you know, something creative and fun, right? Instead of it being nasty and, you know, subtweets and all of that. Like, it's like, you know, you know, we can put this to the test, guys, right? Like, we don't have to just argue back and forth endlessly. Like, there's, you know, we can see what we can do.
Like,
So,
sword fight like men. Let's do this. Let's bring back dueling.
which, you know, I am looking for more people that are willing to come on the show. I'll be reaching out to people. We'll be doing another one of these relatively soon. And I forgot to announce to Maury that the winner of this gets a talisman that I've made that I'm actually wearing right
Oh my
now.
gosh.
So it's a Mercury talisman made back several months ago. But I got to send this in the mail to Maury because that's the prize that's up for each one of these. So yeah, I
I love
will.
it.
I think this has gone great. I'm thankful for everyone
Yes, thank you for
participating.
having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, Gracie. And also, can't stress enough, Stella and Maury, both of them, what a great job they did. And, you know, just to have the balls to come up and do something like this is incredible, right?
Huge.
So, you know, respect to them all the way. All right, well, I think we can wrap this up. I will. I will see you all later. Thanks for joining us, and I'll be making more announcements soon.